But if you keep stacking liability, your liabilities drain away your income. In today's podcast, we're talking about what the rich know that you need to know right now. And one famous book that we all think about is Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. So, Cass, have you read that book before?
Yes, I have read it. And in that book, it says that those who are not very financially savvy will say that their houses and cars are their assets. However, as Robert puts it, an asset is something that puts money into your pocket, while a liability does the opposite.
Yes, exact. So, like house, right? We pay money, electricity bill, conservancy charges. Your house is actually not an asset. It's actually a liability. I think many who are not financially literate don't realize that. So a house, if it's rented out, then it becomes an asset because even for my own case, I'm renting out my HDB. And then when I rent it out, now it fits in $2,000 to my income. So then it becomes from a liability, it becomes an asset. So I think one key part where many of us don't realize is house is a liability when you stay inside. And hopefully when you can get a second property, then that house becomes a real asset. But for cars, it's almost always a liability.
Yes, correct. Because even if you do not drive it, you still have to park it.
Yes, correct. So parking in HDB already costs like $90, something
it's
like
actually
that.
very expensive.
Yes, correct. So you have that monthly parking charge, and the car is still going to require you to service, even though it's still sitting there in the car park itself. So cars are definitely a liability. If can avoid it, if not, buy something small. If you really work somewhere that needs you to have a car, or you have a family that needs a car.
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people are doing now is like they're trying to look rich, but they're actually not as rich as it seems.
You mean owning a big car kind of a thing?
Yeah, something like that. Like on social media, a lot of people are like posting their cars, which is actually a liability lah.
Yes, it's definitely a liability. So, in this game, what the rich know is if you keep stacking assets, right, you would use assets to feed more income. But if you keep stacking liability, your liabilities drain away your income. So that's something to really keep in mind. And we've actually a previous podcast, if you're not wrong, even if you don't have too much money right now, you're thinking what kind of assets you can buy. We have that podcast, correct, on how you can invest your first 2,000.
Yes, correct. Maybe we'll drop the links below.
In that podcast, we actually mentioned about you can invest into REITs, correct?
Yes, correct. I think maybe it's a stretch to buy our second property if you are younger. So maybe REITs will be a good alternative as it pays out dividend quarterly or half yearly.
Correct.
To reward investors.
So maybe we can end off with one tip, especially if you are looking to build your income like the rich. When you get your pay, always try to find 20%, 25% of your pay to put towards building assets. It can be buying REIT, like what you mentioned, or buying bank shares, or buying funds that pay dividend. And slowly but surely, you work each and every paycheck towards your asset column. And very soon, that asset column will funnel more income back to you. And then that's the good cycle that you want to be on. And whether you can become rich or not, that's another story. But you are on this track, you very soon see yourself towards financial freedom.
Thank you for being a listener. Click on the follow and we'll see you in a future episode.